What's up, y'all? I was kind of hit with a real surreal moment yesterday and last night, and actually messed with my sleep. But I was hanging out with my parents and my brother yesterday, and my mom was, reading an article talking about how she was talking to my dad, saying how we should gather some supplies and just be prepared in case there's a cyber attack or something like that. And I was like, hold up. I've been telling y'all this for the past 6 months that y'all should be prepared for a cyber attack or you know, even if I'm wrong, at the least a natural disaster. At least have supplies for at least a week. But no, they didn't listen to me. Um, I'm like, okay, cool. But then my mom was looking at that article, so I was like, hold up. You haven't been listening to me the past 6 months, but you're going to read this article you just found, spur of the moment, and you'll listen to that? Um, and then it just hit me, but I was like, it didn't hit me then, but it hit me later that night, last night. But I was like, I've pretty much, I've basically been casting my pearls before swine. Um, there's a scripture in the Bible that talks about that, and for me, pearls are truths. It's reality. So to me, that verse means um, don't continue to give out truths to show people reality if they're not willing to accept it or they don't believe you. Um, and it just hit me that I've been doing that instead of, and maybe some of y'all truthers or whatever you want to call us, people that are just more aware, or we do our own research, or we're just aware that this reality is not what it's supposed to be and it's not what everyone says it is. It's fake in many ways. But whatever you want to call us, black pillars, whatever, realists. But instead of throwing out a pearl and you kind of get a gauge of what somebody thinks and going from there, whether they accept it, they pick up the pearl, they look at it, put it in your pocket, or they question you, or do they just toss it down to the ground and stomp on it? But my issue was that I was just putting these pearls and truth in a gun and like shooting them in the head. Like, why don't y'all get this? Um, and what I actually think happened is it kind of tarnished my image to where now I'm the crazy conspiracy guy, and they don't believe anything I say now. Even though what I'm saying is truth, you just have to do a simple simple Google search to find these things. Nothing I'm saying is I haven't even told them the wild stuff. I've just told them, surface level. About the whole pandemic that's going on, stuff like that. Um, Kind of surface level. And it just hit me. I'm like, wow. So there's no point to me sharing the truth with them, to sharing reality with them anymore. They don't believe me and they don't listen. So I don't know why it took me this long to realize that, but it also, um, yeah, just made me understand. It's like there's only so far I'll be able to communicate with them. You know, it's like I have to force myself to stay on the surface, which is this much. There's this much depth to the surface. But who I am and the reality of life is like, it's way down here, and it's massive. Um, and this portion is who I am, but I have to force myself to be at the tip of the iceberg. Um, and and that's frustrating because I that's not who I am. It's like when you're talking to the sheep, you I have to force myself to be shallow. It's what is it? Weather, sports, just surface level stuff, and I can't stand to be on that level. And that, not even that we have to agree on everything, but to force myself to stay surface level, it just pains me. It's annoying, and I'm starting to understand it now. Um, I'm like, wow. So it's like, so for the rest of my life, we're not going to be able to have any depth to our conversations. And it just hit me hard. It hit me like a truck. Um, and maybe that won't be the case. Maybe one day we'll be able to have deeper conversations. But now I'm at the point where it's like, there's no point to me sharing these things anymore, because they stomp on the pearls. They throw the pearls away. They don't even look at them. Um, and it's like, it just reminded me of like Superman and Clark Kent. Not saying I'm, some magical being or whatever, but it's like people that know the truth or who are truth seekers, and you're with the sheep. It's like you gotta put on your glasses and be Clark Kent, you know, when you're actually Superman. um, that's who you are, but it's like you have to go back to the surface and just to communicate, just to get around, and it's draining. It's like soul sucking, you know. So yeah, it just hit me like a truck last night, and I'm sure y'all have already experienced this long ago, but I don't know why it took me so long to just realize it. But I'm like, and even with my brother too, but I'm like, will I ever in real life meet another person like me, And I don't know. I want to believe that I will. And I know I have, the online community community in the YouTube community. We are out there. We're not, there's not just five of us. There's a lot of us out there. Um and I was just thinking of the two friends that I do have. They ain't with it. you know. um and I'm just like, wow. It just hit me like a truck, man. Hit me like a truck. And I was just tossing and turning trying to go to sleep, but I'm like, is it going to be like this my whole life? And not to say I don't need like a group of friends or whatever, but I'm like, am I going to ever meet someone that's on the same wavelength? And I'm not, and I have compassion for the sheep. I really do, because we were all there at one point in our lives. So it's not a holier than thou, I'm better than you. Um, I have compassion on them, but it's like, there's no point to me even like talking really. So let me know if y'all have experienced this, with your own family, with your own friends, or ex-friends, I should say. But or even if you have friends. Because I'm realizing, like, if I can only stay, if I have to only stay on the surface level, I'm like, that's not even a friendship, you know? Truth really does divide people. So, I don't know. And I should have known this a long time ago, but, um, and if someone can describe these archetypes, but there's sheep, there's the wolves in sheep clothing, there's the shepherds, there's the sheepdogs, there's the actual wolves, and then there's probably like hired hands. I don't know if it's like a meme or archetypes. I know what the sheep are. I don't know what I am. I would say I'm a. Because when I think wolf in sheep clothing, is that. To me, that sounds bad. But it's like. Or it could also mean, you're not deceiving the sheep, but you live amongst the sheep. So to survive, you kind of have to put on that sheep, the outer layer of the sheep, but you're not a sheep, you're a wolf. Um, Not to kill or harm the sheep, but you got to be with them, you're around them every day, and you have to put on the fake face and the fake conversations to get by. I wouldn't say I'm a shepherd or a sheepdog. I don't want to lead. I don't want to lead anyone, um, or a hired hand. So yeah, if anyone can explain the memes or the archetypes or wherever this came from, but I've been watching a couple YouTubers talk about it. So yeah, let me know what y'all think.